You know, I have girls that I train that, you know, last year, you know, some of them it was their first time, and you know, some of the feedback and stuff that you get from coworkers or friends or family, sometimes it's not so supportive, and people don't understand why you would want to do that, and they're never going to understand it. I mean, you can try to explain it until you're blue in the face, but it's like they'll never understand it until they do it. You know, it's like in these girls that, you know, it was their first time. It's like they did it, you know, the first time, and they were hooked. I mean, it's just a it's a overwhelming, exciting, fun journey. I call it a journey because you learn a lot about yourself, and not just what you can do physically that you didn't think that you could do, but you learn a lot about yourself emotionally and mentally. You know, it's a learning experience. I think it helps you to get to know yourself better in a good way. I think it's good, although some of the people on the outside might not think it's so good, because you'll find that people will try to sabotage you. And I went through this with some of my girls last year, and it's I don't ever really remember felt like I was being sabotaged, because I just made up my mind and did it, and that was it. Nobody was going to tell me any different. That's what I wanted to do, and I was going to do it. I guess you could say maybe in the very beginning, the people that sabotaged me or tried to was my mom and dad, and just because they didn't understand it. But after my first couple shows, my mom became my biggest fan, and she started asking questions. My father, he never got it. He never understood it. He never jumped on board. You know, but if it's something that you want to do in your life, it's like you just have to do it. And once I started doing it, I was usually always in the gym atmosphere, either working at a gym. I became a personal trainer at a young age. I worked in gyms at a young age, and so I was kind of in an atmosphere that was probably more supportive of somebody doing something like that. But you know, if you're somebody that has, you know, a job in an office or something like that, you're going to be around people that probably don't work out, or maybe not even eat healthy, or do any type of physical activity, and those are going to be the ones that usually don't get it or don't understand it. You know, well, why would you want to do so much cardio? Why would you want to work out so hard? You know, why would you want to eat that way? You know, or what are you eating? I worked in a couple offices when I was younger, when I was first starting out, and it was always, people were curious, and they would always ask what I was eating, and you know, they didn't get it, but they tried to be supportive. So you'll get people that are that don't get it, that are still supportive, and they want you to do good because they support you with whatever you do. Then you'll get the people that don't get it, and they're going to try to sabotage you, because usually when you make that commitment to yourself and you've decided that that's something that you want to do, you have to go through changes, and you have to change your behaviors in order to look a certain way. So you have to make sacrifices to look a certain way, to get over here. So if you're here, you have to make sacrifices along the way to get to this point over here. This is show day. This is present. So it's like, when you make sacrifices and you're changing, a lot of times that means that people around you have to change too. They have to, you know, what do they always say? Misery loves company. So, you know, if they're sitting there eating ice cream and you used to eat ice cream with them, they're going to still want you to eat ice cream because they don't want to be alone. They don't want to feel guilty. Because usually when somebody else eats it with you, you don't feel as guilty. So if they're eating ice cream and you can't, all of a sudden, there has to be a change there. You've changed and decided not to do it, and you can't do it because you have a goal that you're trying to reach now. So the other person has to change in one way or another. Either change by learning to eat the ice cream by themselves, or not eat the ice cream like you're doing. So there has to be some type of change in there. And usually, you know, people don't like change, you know, especially when it comes to food. I think that's the biggest part of it too. The hardest, should I say, the hardest part of it is the food, because you have to prepare your food every day. I usually do mine every day or every 2 days. Some people do 3 or 4 days.